Hey everybody, it's Denise again with my scrappy place, and it's time for another card. And I figured, you know what, it's September, we gotta make a Christmas card. Seriously, Christmas season will be here before we know it, and we need to get the cards out before Christmas actually happens. So why not go ahead and make a card? Now, I will tell you, this lovely card here is not my design, I tend to say that quite a bit, don't I? I do promise I make some design my own cards, but this particular one, we had a demonstrator meeting last week in my upline. Carol had this for us, and this is what we made. And so I am going to do a version of it. I'm going to change it up just a little bit. But what we are going to be using for this particular card set today, the stamp colors that we're using, this card, we use Lemon Lime Twist and Real Red, but I am going to switch it up, and I'm going to use Granny Apple Green and Real Red. So one of the two colors, at least out of this. I'm going to do something a little bit different with the background. We're going to use what are we going to use? We are going to use the Wishing You Well stamp set, and I have done other cards using this stamp set before. And honestly, when I first saw this, it's in our holiday catalog. When I first saw this stamp set, I wasn't all that impressed with it. I'm like, okay, it's got a wreath on it. It's got a bundle of something, wheat or whatever. It's got some pretty, the fonts are good. Sending you our thoughts and prayers, wishing you well, just a note, and then there's season greetings. And then you can put flowers in your bouquet of leaves. But then I saw the bow. The bow is what sold me on this. And you'll see it. I can't even begin to describe. Now this card has some sparkle on it, and we're going to put sparkle on the one that we make as well. But that bow is what sold me totally for this particular card set. But it is in our holiday catalog. Let me zoom out just a little bit so you. That's the wrong way. Zoom out. There you go, Denise. It is in our holiday catalog, and it's on page 35, and it features our distinctive style of stamp, and that's what gives that bow that awesome, I just don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like shading. It's really, really pretty. Like I said, you've seen me make another Christmas card with this stamp set in a kind of a non-traditional color scheme. I'm going a little bit this time more with a traditional color scheme. So we're going to be using that. And as well, we are going to be using let's see, where is it at? Oh, of course, like I said, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit in the back, and I'm going to use our Buffalo Check stamp. You've seen me use it a dozen times probably already, but it's also in our holiday catalog, and I really, really hope that when this catalog is over with, that they're going to carry it over and have it be available year-round. That way I can still use it and show it to you guys. Even if it doesn't carry over, I'm still gonna use it and show it to you guys. So anyway, and then the Merry is actually cut out using the framelits from our Merry Christmas to All bundle. And I didn't look in the catalog again. Of course, that is in the holiday catalog, and I don't know where this one is. So let's take a look really quick. There it is. It is in the All is Bright suite. I apologize. It's All is Bright suite, and it comes with a stamp set, which I'm not going to use the stamp set today, but it comes in a bundle, and you get the Merry Christmas Thinlit dies, and that's what I used to cut the Merry out. Okay, and you can see this particular one. This set has got they're backwards, so it says there's Christmas. There's holidays, then of course there's Merry, and there's Happy, and there's two little tag frames that, like I said, coordinate with the stamp set, so you can put your little saying in the frame and cut it out. Okay, so you can buy them separately, but if you buy them as a bundle, you get 10% off that way. So I'm all about saving money, but then again, I want to have it all. So I went with the bundle and saved myself a little bit of money that way. In addition to being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and when I order my stuff, I save the 10% by buying the bundle. But when you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you also get a certain discount off of your supplies at any given time. So, I mean, that's a really good way. I haven't talked about this really at all about joining my team. I am trying to build up my team a little bit, and I'm going to do a really quick spiel on that. You don't have to be a demonstrator and as such that you do classes or you do videos like I do, or you try and sell the stuff. You can sign up under me, and you can just simply be called what we call a hobby demonstrator. That just basically means that you don't buy from me anymore, but you just buy it from yourself, and you get a minimum is 20% discount. And the farther up you are in the company, it's kind of like any other direct sales. The more people you have under you per se, the bigger the discount and the bigger sales, and it just depends on what your title is. Like I said, when I first joined, I joined simply because I wanted to be able to get the stuff at a discount. I was spending a lot of money with my demonstrator, who is now my upline, Carol, and she probably, was perfectly happy with me spending a lot of money with her. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money. Why don't I just go ahead and sign up? It's $99 to sign up, and you get $125 worth of products. And the good thing is, unlike some of the other, direct sales, they don't just pick the stuff. They don't send you a kit, here you go. You get to pick whatever you want is to be in your kit. So for $99 plus tax, you're going to get to pick $125 worth of product out of the catalog, and it could even be out of the holiday catalog. Holiday catalog. My words are hard today. It's been a long day. But anyway, there's my little quick 5-minute spiel on signing up. I will always put the link down below my description of the video. But we are going to make a really quick card here. And again, I keep saying that on every card. I try and keep my videos under 30 minutes because I know you don't want to spend all day long watching my videos. But let's go ahead and get this card started. And for the sake of time, I have already cut out my stuff like I always do. So what we're going to be using today is, like I said, we have the card base, Whisper White, 8.5 by 11, 8.5. This is 5.5. It was an 11.5 piece, 11-inch piece of paper. I cut it in half, scored it in half, and folded it. And there's my card base. This is always a typical card base, even if I do it this way or if I do it this way. There is another fold that we do, but I don't typically go that way with it. So typical card base. Like I said, we're not using the lemon lime twist. We're going to go with Granny Apple Green, and here is the color difference in that, so you'll be able to see that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my buffalo check stamp, like I already talked about, and let's put this here, and let's zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I've already mounted my stamp, get the light settled on the biggest block that we have, which is our F block. And I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green, which coordinates perfectly, and I'm going to ink up my stamp. So I'm going to try not to shake the table. I'm famous for that. It's like earthquake. But it's still shaking. I can see it's still shaking. I'll go a little more gently. It's not going to be perfect. It's just kind of a rustic stamp. I love this stamp. I can just see so many things being used for. Like I said, I hope they keep it past the holiday catalog. It does kind of, in my opinion, have a fall-ish vibe to it. Then I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green, and you're going to maybe saying, well, why is there a big circle cut out of it? I didn't tell you about this. I take a lot of my cardstock, and if I need to make a shape that's cut out, because I layer them, I just cut them out of the middle, and nobody's ever going to know it because I'm going to have other stuff laid on top of it. So let's make the most out of our, out of our pennies. We work hard for our money. I have a regular 9-to-5 job, just like a lot of other people. I don't do Stampin' Up! Solely as my only income. Maybe one of these days, but for right now, I still have a job like everybody else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this on my stamp, and like that. And I don't want to get ink all over myself. I've done this before and I showed you. So I take a piece of scrap paper, and you can see this is the one that I use all the time, and I'm just going to lay it on top, and I'm going to press. Now, if I wasn't taping, I would be going to town and I'd be pressing super hard and super fast, and I would be shaking the table like crazy. But I don't want to get anybody seasick, so I'm just going to press this all around, make sure I get it good. The table is still shaking. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Until I get a better way to mount my camera, this is how it's going to be, folks. That's just all there is to it. And I'm going to take that off, and you can see where I rubbed, and then I'm just going to lift up my base, and there it is. Let's set this aside so I don't get myself messy. All right, I can already tell that this is going to be cool. Don't you just love this? I mean, they're so cool. All right, anyway, on with the show. I am going to leave a link to my blog in the description of this video, because I can never remember all the dimensions of everything I used. But I do know that this is my basic cardstock. This one is a basic first layer, so this is always going to be 5 1/4 by 4. Like I said, this was just a scrap that I had. I cut something out of the middle. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my real red. This is my next layer, and it's going to go on here like this. And I had to cheat. I mean, this was kind of a little bit different, and I don't know what I did with my paper. This is not my typical matting sizes that I use. So for the red, this one is 3 3/8 by 4 1/4 by 3 3/8. Like I said, I will leave a link down in the description. The Whisper White is 3 1/8 by 4. So basically, I just kind of took it down about 1/4 inch, and this is going to be my stamping layer that I put my my wreath on. I've already mounted up my wreath, and I'm going to pull in a scrap piece of paper just so I can kind of give this a test and see what it's going to look like. So, my 4th or 5th tip for the day. I don't know how many tips this has been. I've been doing a lot of videos today. When you're using these ink pads, don't smush this down. You just need to tap, 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 tap. Let me zoom out just a little bit. You just need to tap, tap, tap. Don't smush, smush, smush. Just tap, tap, tap. Just so that you get a little bit of ink. And I'm just going to test it out just to see how it looks. And that looks good. So I'm going to go back in, get my card, and I'm just going to tap, 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 tap again. And on my card, I don't want this all the way at the top, and I don't want it all the way at the bottom, because I am going to put my bow on here, and I'm going to center it up. Let's see if I get my head in the shot. I'll try not to, but I kind of got the crazy hair thing going on. And you also don't want to smush it down really hard, especially on these distinctive ink stamps, because it's going to give it kind of a variegated view. And it looks like that for a reason. It looks like it missed some on the stamp, but it didn't. That's just the way that it looks. Okay, I can tell. If you ever start cutting your paper and you start getting fuzzy edges on the paper, can you see that? That means it's time to change your blade and your trimmer. So I know that it's time. So I'm just going to kind of clean this up, because that will bug the snot out of me. Anybody that knows me knows that I tend to be a little persnickety about certain things, and that's one of them. If I'm going to send a card, I want it to look good. All right, so there is that first layer. And I've already, for the sake of time in the video, I have already gone ahead and cut out my Merry. And I showed you those framelits, and it's very flimsy and very thin and very pretty, and that's what it looks like. So what I'm going to do is move my ink out of the way so I don't, actually I'm just going to close it up, because I've already nearly dropped ink pads and had disasters all day today. So let's just close that up and get it out of the way. I am going to lay that right about here. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Now I need to do my bow, and on this one I popped it up. So what I did was I just took a scrap of Whisper White. Let's zoom the camera in so you can see. And I took my real red ink pad, opened it up, and again, like I said, I mounted my thing. I don't need to smush, smush, smush. I need to just very lightly, tap, 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 not very hard, till I get some ink on the stamp, and then line it up on my scrap piece of paper. And there we go. And there is that awesome, like I said, distinctive, what they call this distinctive ink, where it looks like it's several layers, but you only had to do one stamp to get that. Now, what I have done for my card is I just took my scissors and I fussy cut it out. But again, with the magic of television, oh, I've already got one made. So there it is. I'll move that aside for another one. And I am going to take my dimensionals. And usually I only use the regular size one, but we do have mini dimensionals. So let me show you what those look like. They're dimensionals, but, well, hence the name. They are mini. They are teeny tiny little bitty ones. So let me get my pokey tool and pull one of these off. Can you see how small it is? That's the mini one, as opposed to a regular size dimensional. So you see the difference? Okay, so I'm going to stick that on the back of this, and peel the sticker off, and I'm going to put the bow right about, I probably could have taken my wreath up just a little bit, but that's okay. And I'm going to stick the bow down right there. Now while I have this out and my pokey tool out, this needs some bling. I am all about the bling, so I'm going to get my pokey tool. Usually I would use my take your pick tool, but I have this out, so let's just go ahead and use that. Actually, you know what I need to do first? Let's take that bling off. We'll put the bling back on in a minute. Let's stick our Merry down first, so that we'll know where to put the bling around it. So I'm going to take my Merry, I'm going to take my glue, and do like I did earlier. Now, we do have a self-adhesive strips that you could use to cut this out with, and what you would do on that, I don't ever use it because I forget about it, quite honestly. But you take the self-adhesive strip, stick it to your piece of paper, then run it through your Big Shot, and then when it's done, then you peel the backing off, and it's like a sticker automatically. You could probably also run this through, I know some of you may have those Xyron sticker makers. That would work too. Of course I have one of those. I don't know where it's at, but I'm just going to use my glue for right now. So I'm just going to take and just put a few dabs of glue on the back. And again, you don't have to go crazy with it, but it does have some curlies, so you definitely want to get the curlies down on this script. This is not the easiest way to do it. I'm sure I could have done it a different way to make it easier, but no, I'm going to do it the difficult way just to show you that it can be done. Okay, so I'm going to take my Merry and I'm going to lay it down. That looks pretty straight. Looks pretty good to me. Clean up my glue because I did get extra glue on it. And now I'm going to take my jewels and I'll put the bling around my Merry. And as I sit here and think about it, I think I am going to stamp something on the inside. I typically leave all of my cards blank on the inside, with the exception of my Christmas cards. The Christmas cards, I will tend to find one that has what I call an any saying, something for the inside as well as the outside. And also, I've got 4 jewels here. I personally think things look better in odd numbers. So that's my opinion. The jewels are completely optional. I'm also going to do something else. Let's see here. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and mount this on our red, on our card backing. So let's put some glue here. My stomach is growling again. I did just eat. Maybe it's not really growling because it's hungry, but it's processing my dinner. And I'm going to stick that on the, I don't know if you can hear my stomach or not. If you do, I'm really sorry. Kind of embarrassing, but anyway. There we go. Now I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and like I said, I like sparkly stuff, and especially when it comes to Christmas. I believe stuff needs to be sparkly when it comes to Christmas. So I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. And if you're not familiar with this, I don't know how to explain it other than it's kind of a brush, and it's got liquid in it, and it's sparkly. That's just the best way, is it's sparkly. And I'm going to very carefully just comb, and I could have done this before I actually stuck this down on my white paper. And that's actually what I would suggest anybody who is new at crafting to do, is color it before you glue it down. Just makes life a whole lot easier. Okay, we're going to do this really quick, as quickly as I can without making a mess. I think somebody just came in my front door. Whoops, I got a little bit on the paper here. My dog's not barking, so maybe nobody came in, and my doorbell didn't get off. I have one of those Ring doorbells, and the only person that ever actually rings the doorbell is number one, the UPS guy, and it's like he pushes the button and then he runs. And then my daughter rings the doorbell as she's coming in the door. Go figure. I don't know, but it also has a motion detector on it. If you're familiar with the Ring, so if somebody's on my porch, and even if they don't ring the doorbell, it still goes off. I think this particular Wink of Stella is getting a little dry. It is going to kind of pick up some of the color and move it around the ink, so just be really careful. I think, like I said, I think this one is almost completely dry, and I'm not even sure that this is the clear one. Oh no, this is, okay, I see the problem. This is the silver one. This is a contraband one. We have one that is clear, and that is what I meant to grab, and for whatever reason I grabbed this silver one. The clear one is much prettier. I was wondering why it was making this a little dark. It's still pretty. It still has the shimmer on it, but where I got it, right there on that Merry, let's see, right there, because I used this silver one and not the clear one, it's going to leave that little schmutz, and it's just going to have to be there because I can't go back and change it now. All right, so we've glittered it up. We winked a Stella it. I'm going to take my glue, and I'm going to put this on the buffalo check background that we made just a few seconds ago. And again, oh, you know what? I just realized, you see I've got a hole here. There's a hole, and I just put glue all over the back of this. Had I not caught this, it would have made a mess. I have this piece of, I don't even know what it is or where I got it from, but it's like a waxy piece of paper. So that I don't stick this down to my table, I'm going to lay that on there and line that up like that. Sorry, I'm out of the shot. Okay, oh yeah. I like that background. This just gives it a little something, something. I mean, Carol's card was really pretty as it was. Really like that. But I really, really like that. So no offense, Carol. I just kind of stepped up your card a little bit. Okay, and I had said earlier that I was not going to put anything in the middle of my card, but I think I'm going to. So let's zoom out a little bit so you can see what's going on. And here's my next suggestion for you. Whenever you're doing the inside of a card, you're going to do your sentiment. Do it before you glue this on, because if for some reason you screw this up and you've already got that stuck on there, anyway, I am going to use the Real Red, and this saying that I'm going to put in there is going to be backstamped from the Merry Christmas to All, the one I showed you earlier. And I'm going to use this one. It says, "May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy." And I'm going to put it on the inside for there. So, because this is a big block, or a bigger stamp, I'm going to take my ink pad to the stamp. And I'm going to find my scrap piece of paper, because I haven't used this stamp before, and I'm going to just test it out and see how it works. Okay. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. Okay, so here I go back again. I'm going to just barely tap, 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 and I'm not going to squish, squish, squish. That is the biggest secret, is just tapping it. Don't Don't cram it down. I have been to different events with people who aren't familiar with how have not really done stamping before, and they're smushing it down and it's covering the whole block, and then when they try and stamp it, then they get smushed all over. Anyway, there's my soapbox. All right, I'm gonna get my head probably in the shot here, but I got to get right over it. Lay it down straight. Don't wiggle it, just go straight down with it and pull it up. There we go. May this beauty of the season fill your heart with joy. It was pretty inky, so it smudged just a little bit. You know what? That is okay. All right, let's let this dry. Blow on it a little bit, because you know that makes everything dry faster, better. Okay, there we go. Now, like I said, because I wasn't thinking, pull that aside. Let's let's glue this back on here. So, and normally I would pop something up, but I did pop the bow up. I would, I might have put this on pop dots, but I just decided to go ahead and go straight for the glue. Get my card base, line it up to where it's nice and straight, which is why I almost always use the liquid glue, because I can move it around a little bit if I didn't get it straight. And there we go. I mean, easy, really pretty Christmas card. Using, again, one of my very favorite new stamps, and that's the Buffalo Check. Here is the original. You can see what I went off of. This is the one that Carol made, and she's got a YouTube channel on here, and it is called Stamp in Craft. It's all one word, so STAMPNCRAFT. Check her out. I'm not real sure how many videos she has up on there, but she does have a channel. And then this is my version of the card using the Buffalo Check. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll be doing more Christmas cards here pretty soon, because we are fixing to be in the season. And so I hope you have a wonderful, scrappy day. See you later. Bye.